Welcome to Wesley Impact. I'm Keith Garner. How important is it to create a safe and loving environment for children and young people? Welcome to Wesley Impact, and I'm glad that you're with us. I hope you've enjoyed watching segments from the Man of Galilee over the past 2 weeks. We enjoy filming that series in the Galilee region and asking questions about the relevance of Jesus Christ, his life and teachings to us today. The series is a must-watch and ideal for study groups at home or in groups at home and church. We'll repeat the entire series a little later on in the year, and here on Wesley Impact we'll do that, so keep an eye out for it. We've got a full programme, however, today. At Wesley Mission, we've been working with families and children since the earliest days of Wesley Mission and through the Wesley Central Mission model in the 19th century. When looking at community and family services, there is no denying the need to address the welfare of children who, for whatever reason, don't find safety and security at home. Over the next 2 weeks, I'd like to look at this topic a little further and speak with a colleague here at Wesley Mission and also a foster carer through Wesley Dalmar, looking at what we do and how we go about the work with children in specific circumstances. I'll speak with Jennifer Bulley from Wesley Dalmar a little later on in the show, and next week with foster carer Helen Conroe. And now I'm going to be joined by Matt Doeland in a moment or two, and Naomi Miller. They will have the Wesley Impact Band with them, and they'll be singing the song, Something Beautiful, Something Good. And then also, to add to everything else, I'll be sharing thoughts on John 6, when we'll explore one of the important themes in the Gospel. But first, one of the initiatives that we've trialled and tested at Wesley Mission is producing positive results in the lives of young people in our foster care programme in particular is Take Charge of Your Life. Early in my time here as superintendent at Wesley Mission, I noticed a trend in young people in the foster care system being left to fend for themselves when they turn the age of 18. I've been engaged with politicians in talking about that and campaigning for it in every sense. However, young people who've got a support network outside of their foster care system have the emotional and financial and spiritual support they need from their loved ones to see them through the formative years of tertiary education, full-time employment, and so on. They fare so much better in life if you can provide that. Our programme, Take Charge of Your Life, seeks to provide continued support for young people who no longer qualify for care and guidance in the foster care system. Let's take a look at this development in the programme together.
My name's Tamara and I'm 20 years old. My life was all over the place, like up and down. I was living out of my car, living in friends' places. I was pretty much living day by day, not knowing where I was going to sleep at night.
Wesley Mission has worked with vulnerable people for over 200 years, providing care and support to individuals and communities in all aspects of life. Wesley's Take Charge of Your Life program was launched to ensure that young people who were leaving the out-of-home care system had the support that they needed to transition into adult living.
It was scary, like not having the certain place that you would go back, have a roof over your head, have food in the fridge.
It was an accommodation first program. That meant that the focus was finding and securing accommodation for young people.
Teaches you to be independent and teaches you how to live on your own. Like if I didn't go through this program, I would probably still be out on the streets because I wouldn't have been able to get my life together.
Wesley Mission works with the whole of the person, ensuring holistic support is provided, not just focusing on the presenting need, but looking at the whole of the person.
It's everything that you need to live independently that they help you with.
That support also needed to include the skills that you need to live independently. Living successfully independently isn't just about having a roof over your head, it's also about being able to manage your finances, having a job, being able to cook a healthy meal.
They've just been helping me through like cooking, cleaning, with my bills. The life skills program and the housing programs and all the workshops that they support through Wesley and encourage young people to go to, I would encourage you to go to them because, you know, they teach you how to live
Wesley's Take Charge of Your Life program is able to provide that support to young people as they transition from 15 into those early adult years.
It will have a big impact on my future. Like, my future's already becoming brighter every day because of Wesley. If it wasn't because of them, I wouldn't have a house over my head right now. I probably wouldn't even be living where I am or be happy with the place and the person that I have become. So just want to say thank you to everyone.
Now, to help people like Tamara have a roof over their heads and have something more, we've developed one of our buildings at Wesley Mission into housing quarters for young people in the Take Charge of Your Life programme. Let's look at the opening of this facility now and see how this will help people like Tamara on their journey. This is far more than a building, although it's a significant project, 22 rooms for young people to be able to find independence of life and in the right kind of atmosphere.
It's taken many years to bring this to life, and we've looked at construction drawings, and it's always been a piece of paper. But today, it's about seeing it in the flesh.
Over 60 subcontractors, suppliers and consultants that have donated their goods and services over some 15, 18 months to provide these amazing 22 bedrooms. It's amazing, the outcome.
We've made use of some buildings that have been dilapidated for a number of years, and they tell the story of how you can transform something and put it to good purpose.
Wesley came to us with this proposition, and we saw what we could turn these houses into and how many kids we could change the lives for.
It's somewhere to call home and you'll have a roof over your heads. The amount of help that they're going to bring to young people is absolutely crazy. If I had that insight and actually knew how to live by myself, I would have excelled a lot better in my life.
It's very important that we make a statement that when a person reaches 18, we have to do far more to help children in foster care.
It will really help people. They'll actually know how to live by themselves, and when they transition out, they'll know how to pay bills, they'll know how to cook, they'll know how to clean. But this age is where we really need to learn how to live independently.
It's finding the means to do something that is often as important as anything. And what we've done is bring people together and say, here is something you can do together. Share the dream with us. And I hope there's many more dreams.
Oh, it's amazing. Like, I've had a look around. Like, I was here when I could look through the walls still. So to see how far it's come and to see how much effort people have put in, it really makes a difference. And, you know, to see those smiles on those kids' faces when they walk through the door, it's going to be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
If you would like to learn more about Wesley Mission, visit wesleymission.org.au. You can find help in our community services, connect with our church and congregations, discover a volunteer role that suits you, stay up to date on the latest news and information, donate to support our work, and help make a positive difference in your community. You can also connect with us on social media and subscribe to receive the latest news and information about Wesley Mission directly into your inbox. Visit wesleymission.org.au.
Please don't hesitate to be in touch if you'd like to find out more about our work at Wesley Mission or if we can help you in any way. Our website and email address are on the screen now. We're looking at our work with young people today. To talk more about this is Jennifer Bulley. I'm delighted to have you, Jennifer, on the show. Jennifer has been part of the Wesley Mission team for over 5 years and is Programme Manager for Wesley Dalmar Out of Home Care. Welcome, Jennifer. What does your team focus on in particular in Wesley Dalmar?
So I am the Program Manager, as you mentioned, for the Wesley Dalmar Hawkesbury office, which is based in Windsor in New South Wales. It's a beautiful area. And we provide case management support to over 68 children and young people in our care. So most of those children are in permanent foster care homes, though we do have some that are in short-term care where their matter is still before the court, and we are waiting to hear what happens to them.
People have different perceptions of all of this. How real is the need? Is the need greater than it used to be? And well, how big is that need? Is it real?
Yes, it is, and there is a great need for foster care. So in particular, there is a higher need for foster carers to provide care for teenagers, so that primary school age and teenagers. I think that's where the gap is for in out-of-home care. But there is a number of different types of care that a foster carer can provide. So that could be emergency care, short-term care or long-term care, and now the push is more for guardianship and adoption. So
let's come back to that in a moment. How many people are in your team then?
So we have a team of 6 case managers,
Right.
2 team leaders. We have a carer, recruitment and support worker, and an administrator.
Next week I'm going to be talking to somebody who's actually doing foster care, if you like. I mean, that would sound like it's more than just signing the papers and getting somebody into the role. What support do you actually provide?
We do provide quite a lot of support to foster carers. So we are governed by the Office of Children's Guardians guidelines and standards. So we provide a minimum of monthly home visits, and each foster carer is assigned to a case manager. And so we can provide 24-hour support, obviously 9 to 5, but we have on-call services. There is an allowance for foster carers, and there are additional financial assistance if needed.
Let me just ask a question that's a personal one. What motivates you to be involved and engaged in all of this?
Well, I've been very blessed in my life to have been raised in a great and loving family, and God has just been so good to me over the years, and I just want to give returned, you know, what good I have been given.
So the Christian faith is an inspiration to you to do this?
Definitely.
And tell me, I think this is although this is an easy question, it's not necessarily easy to answer. What's the things that are most rewarding for you in this particular work?
Great question. I think for me, to be able to see a child come into care that has experienced trauma and has had a difficult start in life, and to see them go through to grow in a loving, supportive and nurturing environment, and to see them thrive in that environment is probably the most rewarding thing in this role.
And to know that we've been a part of all that, really, it must be. Wesley, Dalmar important to you?
It is very, very important. I
Tell
love working.
Tell me what you'd say, Jennifer, to somebody who's listening to our conversation and saying, I wouldn't mind doing that. What would you say to them?
Foster care is very rewarding. I see it as a calling, to be honest, and although it does have its challenges. So if someone is thinking about fostering, I think that they should consider it quite thoughtfully and prayerfully. And if it's something that they do want to get into, then they should contact Wesley Dalmar and speak to one of our carer recruitment and support team. They're very experienced, and they can guide them into the type of care that would be most suited to them. And if fostering is not for them, then they could look into being an auntie or an uncle and provide youth mentoring to young.
And that we do have evenings, don't we, and occasions when people can come along who are potential to come and look at what it's all about, really.
Yeah, that's right. Some information sessions.
Yeah, and ask all the questions that they've wanted to ask but perhaps a bit afraid to ask, really, that's there. So you've been doing it for 5 years, and you did say things are changing. We're wanting to keep in connection with birth families more and more. That's not all negative, is it?
No, I think it's a wonderful thing, and since starting with Wesley Dalmar, I have worked with a young woman who has been such an inspiring story in my portfolio, I guess, where she is in permanent foster care, and I have been able to see her grow and develop and mature into a well-balanced young woman. And her foster carer is just an amazing and inspiring woman. Well, it's a family, actually. And but they have opened up their home and their hearts to this young woman's birth parents. And just to see her become to embrace where she lives, but also where she comes from is very rewarding.
Jennifer, thank you for opening up your heart and telling us why it is that you do what you do. We're always proud to have people of your quality as part of the Wesley Mission family. Please welcome now Matt Doeland and Naomi Miller with the Wesley Impact Band to sing the Gaither song, Something Beautiful, Something Good.
beauty for ashes, joy for the pain, hope and healing. Again and again you call my name, and you tell me that you love me, 'cause you made something beautiful, something good. All of my confusion, you understood. All I had to offer you was brokenness and strife. You made something beautiful of my life. You made something beautiful, something good. All of my confusion, you understood. All I had to offer you was brokenness and strife. You made something beautiful of my life.
Experience the Galilee and the towns and cities where Jesus was raised and called his home. Capernaum, Nazareth, Tabgha, Magdala, Caesarea Philippi, Bethsaida, Tiberias, and of course the Sea of Galilee all feature in this 6-part series as Keith Garner explains the first century context of biblical events.
Jesus was born during a time of change in the political and economic leadership of this region. Fishermen around a lakeside was really one of the big businesses. Why Jesus? Why didn't people ignore him? Why did they take him seriously? And what are the questions we should be asking today if we're going to take Jesus seriously?
The Man of Galilee is available now and comes with a study guide for leaders, small groups and individuals. For more, visit wesleymission.org.au.
So today I'm in John 6 and I'm reading verses 60 through to 69. On hearing it, many of his disciples said, "This is a hard teaching. Who can accept it?" Aware that his disciples were grumbling about this, Jesus said to them, "Does this offend you? Then what if you see the Son of Man ascend to where he was before? The Spirit gives life, the flesh counts for nothing. The words I have spoken to you, they are full of the Spirit and life. Yet there are some of you who do not believe." For Jesus had known from the beginning which of them did not believe and who would betray him. He went on to say, "This is why I told you that no one can come to me unless the Father has enabled them." From this time, many of his disciples turned back and no longer followed him. "You do not want to leave too, do you?" Jesus asked the 12. Simon Peter answered him, "Lord, to whom shall we go? You have the words of eternal life. We have come to believe and to know that you are the Holy One of God." As we come toward the end of John 6, we remind ourselves that the dominant theme has been that of Jesus Christ as the bread of life. Such talk of eating and drinking of himself caused offence to many of the earliest followers, especially if they viewed it as a literal understanding, which I don't think is helpful at all. The deepest truths may cause division if not understood properly. Now, that's one of the lessons I learned from that. Some of the things that caused division were because they got a wrong understanding of it. His words are full of spirit and life. And once we begin to grasp that in ourselves, then we're not divided, we're brought together around that which is true. And the link to betrayal is found in not fully receiving him. It causes some to turn away. It's a difficult one, this, that not everybody who started following him continued following him. And it became a moment of real challenge to the disciples. I'm sure as they saw people turning away, they would wonder what this meant. And certainly when it comes to the end, when we start thinking about the cross, we know very well that there were people that fled into the night and fled away from him. In verse 62 in the passage, he is speaking of spiritual realities. Then what if you see the Son of Man ascend to where he was before? Spiritual realities of his ascension. Not just something that happened, but that reality which is true for all of them. In verse 63, the Spirit is a life-giving power of God. The Spirit gives life. The flesh counts for nothing. Now, I don't think this is a way of saying that everything that is of the flesh of this world is all evil, but it is saying that the Spirit is the life-giving power of God. And from this time, from this particular time, many turned away from him. Was it as he began to talk about betrayal that they started to turn away, each to their own way? From this time, many of his disciples turned back and no longer followed him. Not just people on the edge of the crowd, but those disciples, because we have all these different groups, the 3, the 12, the 120 we find in the early parts of the Acts of the Apostles, but many people that were in groups following, and these are described as disciples. So they really were followers. And in verse 68, it goes a little further when Jesus starts to question the disciples. Simon Peter answered him, Lord, to whom shall we go? You have the words of eternal life. This is really the heart of loyalty which Peter displayed, and the rest of the disciples got a handle on and began to understand in their lives. The questioning of Jesus, the calling of Jesus. Calling sits at the heart of everything. Very pleased that Jennifer, when she talked about what she did and what people do, talked about calling, a distinct sense of doing something, not just for ourselves, but for God. And I think that really was so important to those 12 who were called to be with him and to remain true to him. Now, only when we start to understand this and the journey to the cross do we understand that this loyalty is going to test them and test them and test them. It's going to be so very challenging. In the same way that we heard, if you're thinking of being a foster carer, you ought to think very carefully about it. I'm sure that this must have been true about those that were following Jesus. It wasn't simply something you easily slipped into. It had to be because of a real committed sense of purpose and loyalty that you started to follow him. And then I think that's true today. As an evangelist, I've known what it is to call people to follow Jesus Christ. And I feel that one of the things I want to say is consider very carefully what this discipleship is going to mean in your life. If you're going to follow him, it's going to demand things. It's going to call for things. It's going to challenge you. It's going to test you. It's going to push you more into the parameters of living life for Jesus. Thomas à Kempis, the great writer of The Imitation of Christ, once said this: realize that you must lead a dying life. The more a person dies to themselves, more they begin to live for God. Dying to self, being raised to the new life in Christ. That's not just a nice saying. It's the heart of what it means to belong, to turn away and to hold on to that which is the most important thing in life.
If you would like to contact Keith and find out more about today's program, write to us at Wesley Mission, Post Office Box A 5555, Sydney South 1235, or you can send us an email to impacttv@wesleymission.org.au. On our website, you can catch up on past episodes of Wesley Impact, find out more about our work, read online magazines and articles, and connect with us on social media. You can also connect through Keith's blog and stay up to date on all the latest news and information from Wesley Mission, wesleymission.org.au.
Thank you for sharing with us at home today, and for those of you that write in. I always enjoy this time and also hearing from people. If you'd like to find out more about the work with young people or any area of the work at Wesley Mission, if we can help you, please contact us on our email and website. The address is on the screen now. On our website, you can also find past episodes. I hope the conversation with Jennifer was beneficial to you. Join us next week and we'll speak with Helen Conroy, a foster parent with Wesley Dalmar. I'm looking forward to that and looking forward to seeing you at the same time next week. May God bless you.
Wesley Mission walks alongside people of all ages struggling with homelessness, addictions, mental health issues and financial stress. To find out more, visit wesleymission.org.au.